Man, glad to have you guys back, man. Glad to shoot the shit with you.
Yeah.
Ready to shoot the shit.
Yes, sir.
It feels like it's been a minute, and didn't want to just jump right into another guest. You know?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good views and a lot of good comments. Seems like from all of our tight circles. So, how you doing, Mike? How you been doing?
Yeah, man, good. Things are good. Things are, as good as they can be. Waiting for everything to get lifted so I can start training close to home again, get the regular routine going, go for my weekly steak.
Yeah.
At, my favorite
Copacabana?
place. Well, I mean,
you like that place?
Copa's a good sit-down place. If you're going to go with your girlfriend, a couple of the buddies, you go there, and it's all you could eat. So it's not like something you go there for, like, a quick steak and leave. You're going to spend a while there. You go there, and you're going to fill up the fucking tank on overload when you're there.
You need if you go to a place like Copacabana, it's almost like a challenge, because if you go in there, you have to get your money's worth. So,
well, Jay, for my birthday, you came for the first time, right?
Oh my God, that was the first time I've been to Copacabana.
Yeah.
God, you saw my stories were lit that day. My stories
were
lit that day. I had so much fun. It was sick.
I had fun just watching them.
Yeah, fucking
it was
cornbread. Oh my
God. And the pineapples, like.
Yo, I'm gonna DM them on IG for a fucking commercial right now.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're still doing like not takeout, but like having takeout, because they wouldn't be.
I don't think so, dude.
Yeah,
I don't think so, because they're too much of a sit down place. What are they gonna do? Give you a fucking, a big stick worth of steak?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, man. It's been crazy. Things in the world have been, really unfortunate. Starting with COVID, and then there was the incident with the I forget this guy's name, but he was the first incident. No, it's almost prior to George. It was prior to George. This happened back in February. I know it was like all over Ellen, and I don't know if you guys might recall this incident, but there was a younger black gentleman, and he was in a neighborhood of just, up and coming homes. They were just building the homes.
Are you talking about Trayvon Martin?
And
that was years ago though.
No.
Case?
No. So this dude, he went in to just look at a house. The house was just being built. Didn't take anything, didn't touch anything, just looking around, walked out, left, and two white pieces of shit. I mean, I'm not saying anything about white people. I'm white, but these two people were.
Are you white though?
Pieces.
Are you white though? Is Italian
I think
white,
yes, Jay.
I mean,
yes,
Italian
Jay.
is considered white.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm olive oil.
Where are the lines drawn? Where do we draw these lines, right?
I'm olive oil.
Who's writing these lines? I don't know. If Mike was in like Italy and out in the sun for long, he would be dark.
Yeah, 100%.
I know some Italians from like my brother used to work construction. They're like dark, man. And Italians and Jamaicans are so tight, so I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like with the Canadian weather, everything just kind of it sucks the color out of you.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%.
Because then once you get in the sun, your natural glow, will actually be able to take stand, and you could actually flourish and see like, holy shit, this guy is Italian. He looks olive, not like you look. Now you look at me, you look like Casper. But
so is Italian? Pardon my geography. Is Italian considered Sicilian?
Yeah, well Sicilian's considered Italian.
Well, Sicily Sicily's the boot of Italy. Okay. So it's considered Italian. There's technically an island because they're not actually attached if you look closely. So that's why people, of Sicilian descent say, I'm Sicilian, I'm not Italian. It's also the mindset. They like to separate the two almost.
I've never met one of either that separated the two. Well, I don't think I've ever met a Sicilian. Well, actually, yeah, that's a lie. Bullshit.
But dude,
apologies, bro. One of my clients, Stefano, is
Sicilian. So it's like saying Victoria, BC. It's an island, but it's still in Canada.
Yeah,
it's still part of the country, right?
It makes sense.
But anyways, quick backtrack to what I was saying with the black gentleman. So these two guys in a white truck pull up from behind, get out, and they shot this guy with shotguns, and it was just done. The guy was dead. It was.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, so that happened, and that was like the prequel to the George Floyd. And obviously, this just added to the fire, which again is a very, very sad, unfortunate, tragic, disgusting, and unhumane event. My hearts go out to everyone involved, and I don't know how that could even happen. And what's even more shocking to me is that I saw on the Joe Rogan podcast that they had video footage of bricks, like piles, perfectly stacked bricks, being placed all along the like some of the roads there in Minnesota, almost like they're fueling these riots. And when I mean they, I don't know exactly who it is, but there's speculation, maybe exactly. Like who's gonna waste their own money getting all these bricks and fucking placing them on? So it makes you question a lot of things, because just what is the true intent of the United States government? And I mean, that's probably something we could talk for hours and hours about, but it's sad because innocent lives are being taken while this whole process is being happening.
I feel like this is the most educational Instagram has ever been.
yeah.
What do you guys think about like the whole like black square situation, like people posting the black square? Because originally, like, I'll be honest, I had posted one just because I wanted to show my support. But then I had a bunch of people messaging me saying like, oh, this is so disrespectful because you're taking away from you're taking away from what people need to see. No, but I can see where they're coming from, because like if you're doing a certain hashtag or whatever, I don't know the whole situation. I was just doing it from
what you need to know in a situation like this that's already so sensitive. It doesn't matter what you do. If you didn't post it, people will say you should have posted it. You posted it, and people say,
everyone's going to have their own.
Posting it.
Here's privilege, though. This is privilege. If you had posted like a pro cops or anything like a pro police prior to this, no one would have ever messaged you and said, hey, that means you're anti-black. And I know that's like weird to try to take in, or like even like I don't expect everyone to like understand like all of this, I don't understand a lot of it myself, even as like a black man, and that's because America has a different pain body.
Yes, I was just gonna say that
it's way worse over there than it is here. It's completely different. I feel like
it's different. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's
completely different.
Here a lot of the indigenous.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I'm trying to say. That runs deep in Canadian roots in regards to us taking their land and us raping their women and so far. When I mean us, I mean people of Canadian
there's less
descent.
Systemic racism with indigenous people in white culture than there is with black culture. Like if an indigenous person is going to like get a job or put their name on a resume, they're less concerned as like a black person named Malcolm or just and that's just
for sure,
man, that's just deeply rooted because like Canada is kind of born off of North American history and culture altogether.
And the United States, in regards to slavery, it runs deep in the roots. So something I just found very interesting was like a lot of white people trying to, first of all, we could like as being white or Caucasian European, you can't relate to that level of the level of hurt and pain that runs through the whole black DNA. Like, imagine my great grandfather being killed from slavery, and then someone else is trying to weigh in on something they know nothing about. So I just try to like be understanding, and I can't understand, but as understanding I can be as a white person. I just feel for everyone who has gone through that, and I just feel bad for individuals who are currently suffering from this in Chicago, in a lot of major cities, who are born at a disadvantage, not because they're black, but because of systemic situation.
It's the way that society
socialism.
Exactly.
It's just really the way that society is, and I think that it's definitely something that has been an issue for a very long time. And I think
my heart is racing just talking about this.
It's something that needs to be talked about, and it's fucking 2020, sorry. And I just need everybody. Yeah. I need everybody who's watching this. Everyone needs to wake the fuck up. I don't care what color you are. You could be black, white, Asian, Mexican, fucking orange, red. I don't give a shit. We all bleed the same color, and that's what it really comes down to. So, what hurt me the most when I heard about this piece of shit cop killed George Floyd, before I even found out he was black, I just heard and I was already broken. The fact that he was black, it obviously makes it more disgusting because of the current situation with everything, even leading up to it. But no one, even if the white cop killed a white guy, that is still disgusting. And it's still
yes.
not necessarily so uncalled for.
I think the biggest issue is like it was Minneapolis, right? There's been so many cases. I think they said it was like over 140 cases of this same similar.
And that
this cop apparently has killed 4 people, right?
Yeah,
like this isn't the
that's
first.
What I heard.
This isn't the first situation that this has happened. So I wonder. Like, my concern is why. Like, Mike, you mentioned this. I think you mentioned this to me in person, and I agree. So why didn't the police force do something before it got to this point?
Because they're on the scene with them.
That's true, and I believe that they're just as guilty as he is. But at the same time, why wasn't something done before with this particular cop? I mean, if that's the type of person that he is, then I feel like it could have been solved before it came to this.
I agree with you, and I just like there's been a lot of posts within the Black community and a lot of like conflict within the Black community where some Black Americans are not supporting like the blackout movement on IG. Even someone that I follow, Chris Jones, he posted something like, I'm not blacking out my page, I'm not muting my social media for this. And he was basically just saying that we've been marching since so-and-so was killed, since Kaepernick was trying to take a knee, or since Trayvon got murdered. So we've been preaching the same thing and selling t-shirts since then. So there's that Black America view where you have Black Americans who are angry, and those are the ones that are saying, a black square on your IG isn't enough and isn't something to be like morally praised. But as do you feel
someone like that though is showing that they might have just said give it up in a way, like fuck it, No,
and this is what I was just gonna say too. Like as a Black person, and I'll speak freely, like as a Black person from Canada, because we don't speak the same culture as America, and I've never had the same level of aggressive plight that they've had being Black. I've had some, but not to that level. It's just, it's very touchy, it's very touchy. So there are those Black Americans who are very angry that this is the only effective change, and this is only happening now, and it's not enough change. But as a Black person, as a Black Canadian, I think it's a step in the right direction. And even if it's someone who's been racist their whole life, or their grandfather was racist, or their dad was racist, and they never really thought about being racist, that's just what they've seen around them. Maybe today was the first day that they posted a black square. Maybe today was the first day that they decided, I'm going to look at things a little differently. And
even a small step.
Exactly.
So I think
many small steps in the right direction, right?
Yeah, because even Breon made a post that he was angry, so it's very vivid. Just for the same thing that I was saying, that they've been doing this march and screaming this song for a long time. And then his view was a little different than Chris Jones's. He was saying that he was angry at the Black Americans who were rioting. Not protesting.
Okay, I understand that.
Angry at the Black Americans who were rioting, and saying that it's not showing us as Black people in a good light, as a good representation.
Now let me ask you a question. I know Tupac made this reference way back in the day. In the beginning, you could knock on the door, and slavery, this is something that happened, started 400 years ago. And then over the years, eventually slowed down, no slavery, but the racism is still there. How many times in a black society, have you guys tried to help, try to, better yourselves, better the situation, and end the racism? It's like you're knocking at a door, and then you knock on the door for the first 100 years. You're slamming on the door the next 100 years. And then the next 100 years, you're trying to burn the fucking place down. And then the last 100 years, you're like, you know what? Well, we tried talking. We tried. And that's when I made a post. Maybe I should kind of elaborate on that on my IG story. I understand the protests. I don't agree with vandalizing innocent people's, businesses, but I understand the frustration.
Yeah.
Again, as much as I can as a white person, I understand the view. I feel like maybe there's a more constructive way of coming across. And again, I could be wrong. But it's a hard situation. Like, I can only say so much because I'm white and I'm in Canada.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. I can agree with everything you said there, Mike, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I do think that there's a better way. There could potentially be a better way to approach. Again, me being a white person, what do I know? But at the end of the day, I think that there's definitely a better way to approach it than what people are doing. If you look at the way we're doing it here in Canada compared to the U.S., I think it says a lot about how Canadians react compared to Americans, especially during COVID-19. Who the fuck's even talking about COVID-19
No. It's just
now?
something that we do in our house. When someone coughs, you whisper COVID-19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's a different
what's
perspective.
I want to hear your perspective on it. Like, what do you think? Like, based off of, like, you being a black guy, what do you think?
Well, there's my perspective as a black Canadian, but I have a lot of black American family and a lot of black American friends. So to speak on different perspective, to play the antagonist a little bit, we've had black leaders and they've been murdered, executed.
Within your family?
No, I'm talking about public
in
leaders.
history.
So the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings,
yeah.
It's a little bit different now. It's more socially driven, where they'll strip the notoriety from a black leader or a black politician and make them look more like celebrity. And I'll tread very lightly on this because I know some black Americans are probably going to just rip this apart. But there is a lot that we have to look upon ourselves to do, and that's to create the foundations to build black schools, build black banks, build black hospitals.
Okay, what do you mean though? Don't you find that taking a step back if you guys are
no. See, that's very, and I don't want to seem argumentative, but that's very privileged to say that, because there are little Italies in every fucking country you go to.
Okay, so that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every country you go to, like if you go to North York, everything, there's all the signs are fucking Chinese.
Chinese,
you know what I mean? And in those situations, people of the same nationality can go to a bank and get a loan based on their economic standard. Based, because some of them are coming into the country, they just have a job now and it's their first job. They don't have a long history, they don't have co-signers, they can't really walk into just any bank and get co-signed on a property for Toronto or a property within the region where they're working, and that's the thing that they talk about with systemic racism, and a lot of people, they don't really think that far behind of it. Like your great grandfather had an education, you don't really think of the impact that had on your family 4 or 5 generations later, when people who were slaves or slave owners, they're going back 1, 2, maybe 3 generations, and they'll find people that don't have an education.
I think that's a good point you made. I wasn't really I was thinking back in the, when things were really racist, it was like white bathrooms, black bathrooms. But yes, in regards to, blacks owning or operating a bank, absolutely. 100%, having Jamaican based bank, but you could still, obviously it's not only for blacks.
Of course.
In a community where, everyone. Okay. So that's what
it would have,
accepted.
Yeah.
I think to add on to
where
that, like
everybody knows your name.
No, but I think
you know what I'm talking about. Right?
Cheers? Isn't that Cheers?
Yeah. I'm not old enough.
No.
No, but I think to add on to that, I think it would be important too to that would be. I think that would be good for sure. Like even if like Little Jamaica, you have like Little Italy, like Chinatown.
They don't
Little
have
Jamaica, and it's
don't
not getting shot up. Little Jamaica, that's not getting shot up.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. But like to add on to what Mike said, I think it would be good to have like all the restaurants, the banks, and stuff like that, like in the little area. You know, I think it would be a.
See, like good. That, I know what you're about to say, Mike. Like that video that you sent me today.
Well, yeah,
with the guy in the car that was talking about. That's what I was
about to ask you.
Sorry about the.
You gotta edit that out.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna edit it. Okay, maybe I'll edit it, but I'm not gonna like. I don't want to talk like that on the podcast. But talking about like black people killing black people, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you feel that
it's just not the time. It's just not the time for that. It's just not the day for that conversation, in my opinion.
Well, I wasn't
it's a problem,
so much.
Of course, it's a huge problem.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you feel? And I mean, I feel it's like a several different step question, because I could say to you, Jay, as a black man, do you feel that looking in your Jamaican roots, and for some reason, well, obviously the poverty and lack of income, things like that, could lead to aggression and violence? Is that something you guys need to do you feel you need to work on as
as I just displayed, and I'll use it as an example, like I meant to do it. It's a switch. If you don't have an education, you can't really flip to a conversational language that will let people understand you. And especially if you're angry, if I'm angry and I'm trying to have a conversation with someone, I'm like, listen, you're not hearing me out. You're not seeing me through. It's a lot different than I'm like, yo, fuck this guy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of violence that happens between fellow man, whether it be white on white, black on black, black on white, because of lack of education and they
for
can't
sure
communicate. We've experienced stuff like that, me and Brendan, when we were just like chilling in the gym, and then just some like odd things happen, and then someone just kind of like act away, and we're just both look at each other like, okay, we could either be mature about this right now, or we can be kids about this, and like start a fight.
We made the right decision.
I got shit to do, man. I got work in the morning. For that.
But it is good to know how to defend yourself if the situation.
Yo, my problem is I take it personal. I take it personal.
But
it doesn't become like a fight. Like, let's fight. Like, I'm not a child. I take it personal, and then that makes me really angry.
Sorry, Jay, I wasn't at the gym with you guys. Was this individual like calling you, like making fun of your races, your skin colors?
No, it has nothing to do with.
What was that about?
He was actually someone who would probably be targeted as some type of racial slur for white people who look like black people. See how I said that in such an educated manner? That's a college degree, boys. That's a college degree. Where some people would have been like, well, he looked like a wigger. So people would have said, like, he's trying to be black.
Yeah. Right, a white guy trying to be black.
Yeah, because he had, like, tats all on his neck and baggy clothes and this.
I didn't even know that was a term.
Do you think how you dress changes the way people approach you as a white
person? Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. The perception of you,
as a black person, but I just 100%. Like, as a white guy.
Yeah.
100%. See, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, too. Like me, like when I was younger, like the way that I looked, people treat you differently. 100%.
So when you go to a job interview, Brandon, you'll put on like a proper shirt or something.
No, like
if you dress like a punk, you get treated like a punk.
Well, let me put it.
So that's how black people feel about their skin, and they can't change it.
Well, let me put it this way.
It's like you can't put a shirt on when you go to your resume.
Yeah,
you got to show up bare skinned.
When I was overweight, people treated me different. I know it's kind of related, but with the way that you look or the way that you present yourself, people will 100% treat you differently. I know because I've experienced it. Absolutely. I can't say I've experienced anything close to maybe what you've experienced, but I have.
I would compare it. Absolutely, I would compare it.
Yeah,
especially because like I'm black in Canada, where it's not as violent as it is as being black in America. I've experienced a lot of racism in my youth, not so much in my adulthood, because I look more jacked, people.
Yeah,
that could be a reason.
They're looking at me weird anyway. You know, I don't even know. You know,
that's exactly what the time.
But when I was younger,
because if you didn't look the way you looked right now,
yeah.
if you didn't have the muscle, let's say you were skinny, people might treat you different. People might be more racist towards you.
But dude, also muscle is what muscle represents. Muscle represents consistency, routine, hard work, dedication, focus. Because people know what it takes to build muscle. So it's like,
let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you guys think that you guys get treated differently based off of the way you present yourself and the way that you look? We want to know.
Pre-Jack, you guys, post-Jack.
Let us know in the comments below. And if you've ever experienced anything like that, share your experience with us.
Well, I know when I feel like a skinny bitch that I'm like, nah, I don't even want to.
I could speak and like, you know, for myself, before I started bodybuilding, I was also at a different phase in my life. So let's say like, you know, this is a 12-year difference. Of course, I'm dressing different. Now I'm bodybuilding. Before I was all about, you know, snowboarding, and I was so deep into like music and rap and stuff like that. I used to be. That was my thing before bodybuilding, man. I used to eat, sleep.
You're a snowboarder,
right? Are you snowboarding on IG?
On my phone, probably.
All right, send it to
me. But this is back in like 2005, 4, like before social media was out. But I think I have some pictures on my phone I could dig up for you.
Yeah, we'll throw them up.
We want to see it.
Jay, I will. I'll bring it to you. But Jay, what's your 2 cents, and what do you think, based on your knowledge?
Because I'm black. Is this my 2 cents? Because I'm black?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we can say that.
Well, of course.
But it's not in a bad way.
No, but it's like my.
I can only weigh in. I can only weigh in on so much.
You have the shirt. You know what I'm saying? Right? I have the shirt. You have the shirt.
Yeah. Like if you want to talk about like, you know, white shit or, you know, Italian stuff.
Well, I do. I have many questions for like white people, but I never considered you white.
Cool.
So you can ask me questions, Jay.
Yeah, you're white as shit. Yeah. Everybody knows that.
You're white as shit.
You get so pale, dude. Yeah.
All right.
No, but like white, you're like white to like black people is like European. Like in Canada, you're like Italian. You're like more like white, right? But like. Amongst like the urban people, like Italians are kind of like on the construction site, you know.
That's
racist.
So like kind of well, we're minorities.
It
on
is.
The construction site, they're like
absolutely. It's mainly Europeans, Greeks, Portuguese, Italians. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's racist for a reason. Everyone in my family, like my grandparents, both my grandparents came here with nothing from it. No education. Yeah, but they're both like dirty rich.
Yeah,
and it's because they it's the truth. No one helped them, dude. They just fucking, you know, they're smart.
They grinded their way.
Yeah, they're business savvy and they have good work ethic and they learn how to build shit, and then that's all they did. They ended up putting up so many so many buildings downtown. They built like a good portion of the city. It's insane.
Okay, so like say like from a systemic standpoint, my generation would be like more like your grandparents' generation. Because my parents just got here, or your parents' generation. So this is your third generation here, right?
No, my grandparents came here. They were born in Italy.
Yeah,
that's my mom's dad or whatever. My mom. Yeah, my parents were born here. They went back for a while, but they were born here.
Yeah,
so yes.
Okay. So my brother was born in Jamaica.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like my generation is still like first generation immigrants.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a couple of generations down, like my kids, they'll be more well off. They'll have less of an effect from not having shit, from being broke. Yeah.
And especially being in Canada, it is different. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think slavery was as bad in Canada as it was in the States.
I don't think so either. But I
think Canada was I shouldn't say I think. I know. And Canada was like an escape.
Where was it worse? Like, where was the worst? Like, do you know?
Dude, is that where the whole Underground Railroad thing comes in?
Exactly.
Holy shit, that was to Canada. Absolutely, I remember reading about that. Actually.
Oh wow.
Canada's been the promised land for a long time.
So Canada is like
there's been a lot of Americans in Canada in foundation. So even though there was no slavery here, like black people were free in Canada, there was still oppression and racism.
Right, but just not like the States.
Canada was the safe haven then.
Own a person in Canada.
And this is what I mean. The roots run so differently in the States. It's such a different ball game, man. Like, and that's what I was actually going to ask you, Jay. How fucking crazy is it that people or cops are planting not devices but weaponry in order to fuel this fucking riot? They're leaving like bricks, like not just a brick, like piles and piles of bricks. It's like, here, you guys want to tear down your own fucking cities, your own stores? Yeah, here, we'll supply you the ammo. But instead of the money spending on bricks, you know, they could be putting into the fucking city.
It's not at all any surprise to me. And as
I
the
think
view of a lot of Black Americans who are angry at, I'll say angry at some people that don't have like the well consciousness to think that far through it. They don't see that it is like part of systemic racism and like people in power at the very, 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 very top are still of older generations.
That's true.
Still raised by older generations. And this is why I said social media has never been so fucking educational, man. I've seen so many like memes and videos that have been like, oh shit, like I didn't know that.
I feel
like,
the most.
I seen one where it showed in the 40s and 50s like a bunch of like high up politicians like sitting around and discussing how they would take like the smartest Black people out of the ghettos and like just give them some jobs so that they feel a part of it, but not totally a part of it, but just so that they're not in the ghettos to become leaders, and then still take away education from like the poor areas, and redlining property where only like certain social financial wealth can live in certain areas, and if you were poor you had to live in certain areas, and how the property tax money from that area would fund the school. So if you lived in a poor area, you went to a poor school, and holy shit.
It runs deep, you know, and it's fucking crazy because
like it's similar with the jails. Like the whole jail system.
Well, they say, I don't know the percentage, but like they say 1 in every 4 Black men at some point go to jail.
Yeah,
that's insane.
In the states, I want to not. In the states, but when you're born into this situation where you're oppressed, jobs, resources aren't the same, income's not the same for your family. You know, they get depressed.
Do you think that's the case in bodybuilding too?
How so? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, do you think? I heard my mother dry. Do you think it's like the same thing for like getting jobs or getting sponsors or something like in bodybuilding, or would you say
it's a little
in the bodybuilding community?
I feel like actually Black people, like, not to like discredit anything, but because they're so talented at bodybuilding, they tend to get all the sponsorships and all the deals, but it's deserved, right? Like, you know what I mean? Would you agree?
Well, dude, the DNA runs deep into this, you know, slavery and the work they did, being outside, all that work, that all ties down the generation.
Not only the work,
but the culture.
No, not only the work, but they did selective genetic breeding, where they would take the biggest and strongest slaves, men and women, and breed them to make bigger and stronger slaves. Why do you think we have LeBron Jameses, nigga?
That's so interesting.
Oh my God, I did it again. Fuck.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a little bit of editing on this video, Jay.
I ain't edited shit out. I'm gonna be my new phrase.
All right, well, none of these videos are getting monetized.
Oh man, I'll throw you the $2 myself. But yeah, man, and they would take the smartest slaves out of the groups and kill them, because they were teaching other slaves how to read and stuff. Really? You guys didn't know this shit?
I know that last part.
Yeah.
I know they would condemn and penalize the individuals that were helping certain people and the other slaves grow. I knew that.
Yeah, so I think back to Brandon, he asked me, like, do I think that it's equal playing field in bodybuilding? I would definitely say it's not. And I would say it doesn't favor. Okay, let me say this carefully. On the stage, it doesn't favor for white people well, in my opinion. I would say there are much more like Latinos, Asians, blacks, obviously blacks, like fucking Shanique Grant. Oh my gosh, like.
But dude, that's why we love Jay Cutler so much, man. Look what he did. He was like white as white.
Yeah.
But do you think? No, go ahead.
But like, so on the other side of it, to go back to the other side of it, the marketing side, I think unless you're black and winning shows or some type of fucking prodigy, it's harder than it would be. And I'll say to throw a third in there, because I hate this being black and white. I would say it's harder for a white guy than it is for a white girl. I would say if you're a white girl and you have,
of course, more marketability,
good shape, good look, good marketing look, you're the most marketable thing in the industry.
For sure.
Whether, like, regardless of your skin.
Yeah. I know a lot of successful girls who are European based, living in the States, in figure, who are very successful. Now, I don't know if that has to do with a black or white thing, or if just that they look sick. They got good physiques, good work ethics. They're marketable.
Call it black or white. Yeah, let's not call it black
or
white.
Yeah, I mean, it is what they look good.
Yeah, let's just call it marketable.
Well, because
like, what's more marketable? Like, my neighbor once told me, she's gonna see this. She like once told me that, like, when we got our dog, and she saw me out in the field, like walking this little dog and like chasing this little dog, it like blew her mind. Because she would always see me like with my shirt off, cutting the grass or like doing everything. And we never talked. She just thought I was like this big, tough, like angry black dude, I guess, right? And she said when she got to know me, she's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that for like 2 years, I thought you were someone else, basically.
So she was afraid to actually have a conversation with you just because of the
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that she was afraid to. It's like, on my part as well, not that I could like hear her over the lawnmower, but like, you know, we never did more than like a wave or a head nod or, you know.
And this is your next door neighbor?
Yeah, right to the right. I almost said her name. I won't say her name.
Okay.
Yeah. She's got the 2 big dogs.
Okay.
What dogs?
Yeah. In my stories, I usually am out with the dogs in the morning, and the 2 big ones are hers.
Because you got a big dog.
So does Kylo get along with those dogs, or he doesn't go?
Kylo thinks he's a Rottweiler.
So does he go near the other? Like, he'll get along with them, or no?
Oh yeah, he thinks he's a Rottweiler. He thinks him and Jake are like brothers, and that he's a Rottweiler. Because since he's a puppy, they've known each other. So
that makes sense. Then
he does.
They get along.
Rottweilers do. He doesn't play with the little dogs. He'll only play with like the big dogs.
Yeah. That's good.
Do you think that there's racism in the industry, Mike? As far as like marketing and on stage?
That would depend on the publisher. Yeah, I mean, well, I was saying Jay being white and against all these superior genetics, he did a great job because, you know, he won and he looked good and he was able to outwork his genetics. There are people with better genetics than Jay, but he put the work in. So, Jay, you could have better genetics than me, for an example. But if I outwork you, I could outwork and outshine your genetics. Yeah. So my 100% is like your 60%. If you put 60% in, I got to put everything in to even stand close. So Jay put in 110%, and I mean, he ended up knocking out Ronnie. It wasn't in Ronnie's prime, but Ronnie had the genetics, he had the work ethic, he had the passion, he had the vision, the fucking discipline. Ronnie had everything. That's why he is who he is. But I think there's a level of racism in the industry, a level of racism. I want to make sure that for sure.
In classic physique, do you think Chris Bumstead is a better look for the class, or a better bodybuilder than Breon?
That's a good. Okay, I like Chris's. I think Chris overall is a good look. He's like he's a good looking guy, tall, represents Arnold in a way with the vacuum, and he's got long limb. Does he have the density of Breon? No, but Chris is taller and longer with the vacuum. He represents more of an Arnold, full head of hair. You know, so it's a whole package that they buy, right?
Yeah, they said the same thing back in the day too with Arnold versus Sergio, right?
It just depends, I guess, on the overall look that they want, right? Like you could like.
But it is everything though. It's everything that they look at. It's like if Chris Bumstead maybe had a fucking shaved head and more tattoos, maybe he wouldn't have won.
Well, because he looked more like a wigger.
That's a thing. I think it's just his overall.
I guess I'm a wigger.
You think so? You're missing a few tattoos.
Yeah. But yeah, no, for sure. I think Chris is a.
If I have to mute the N word,
it depends on what you're asking.
To mute the W word?
No,
probably
because
the W
that's
word.
A good question. That's some bullshit right there. That's privilege.
That's a good
That's
question.
privilege right there.
No, let me
I'm muting both of them. I'm muting.
Dude, the N word runs deep within the back culture. The W word, like Brennan didn't even know what the fuck that means. There's no.
I didn't even know what that was.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a different generation. What do they say in your generation?
They said like for white people.
For white people who's like dressed. Well, do you guys have that in your generation?
I don't really think that there was a name for it.
See, that's a huge sign of a difference of change in the generations, right?
Yeah, because I guess everyone's more accepted.
That was very clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was more.
Was that an actual term that got thrown around in your time?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Dude, a lot.
See, because like,
and this is like in the early
2000s.
The early 2000s, late 90s, huge.
Up in Smoke Tour, bro. That was like
you were either white or like a wigger.
Yeah.
See, because like growing up, that like I never really experienced anything that was like nobody really said like I never experienced that.
Wait a minute though. You grew up in Pickering though.
I mean, I grew up in Toronto.
Yeah, dude, he's like he's 22, 23, man.
Toronto's way too multicultural, though.
Yeah.
We grew up in. Where did you grow up?
Me?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at your.
Vaughan is even less, though. I feel like
Yeah, Vaughan's kind of white back in
Jay,
the 90s.
So let me tell you something. Dude, when I went to elementary school in Woodbridge, everybody, not even like European, everybody was Italian. Everybody. There was one kid that was German, and he was like we accepted him because he was solid, but he was like looked at like for a short period of time as like an oddball. When I went to high school, then
did you look at him as the white guy?
Well, that's implying if I was like a black guy. But
No. In that time, in that period, in your group of Italian class, when he came in, did you guys?
He was different for sure. He was different.
No, but like, would you say? He's not Italian, or did you guys say he's European?
Nah, he was like, dude, he was just so funny. He was like that prime example of like comedic relief. No one gave a shit.
You know how would you have described him? As the German guy?
Maybe other people did. I didn't.
No, I don't mean.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
No, but I get what you're saying. But yeah, some people would refer to him as like, you know, he's not Italian. Yeah. Or they would say like, you know, he's German. But no one gave a shit in our school. And again, we were young, we were kids. But when I went to high school, dude, that was the first time that, like, for me, it was a little bit of a culture shock because there was so many Middle Eastern, so many, not so many, but there was quite a few black people.
Yeah.
Not that I had a problem with anybody, but it was just different for me coming from such a Italian school. Like, everyone's last name was Italian. If your last name didn't end in a vowel, it was like, that's an odd last name.
That's really cool to hear that. I never hear that perspective.
See, what's interesting with me is with the way that I grew up, I think it's a lot different now than when you guys were younger. But I grew up in, I'm not going to say that there wasn't minorities, but everybody was like, there was different cultures everywhere. Like you'd have Asian people, black people, white people.
Okay. In your
it was like I would say it was pretty even.
Okay, like in your grade 8 class.
Like literally, I'm telling you, like if I go back and look at my grade 8 picture, I would say that like there was like white people. There wasn't like as many, like there was everybody. Like it was evenly spread out. But like when I went to high school, believe it or not, I felt like I was a minority. Because there was more of everything
in Toronto, especially
the area that I'm in now, like for like where I grew up in Thornhill, that's what it was like, you know, growing up in elementary school. But when I went to high school, that's when it changed. That's when I actually felt like I was the minority. There was more like where I went to high school, Jay Clark, there was more Indian people and black people.
Like native or like
Indian from like India.
Yeah.
Right? Or like Sri Lanka or those kind of countries, right?
Did you go to public or Catholic high school?
No, I went to public, pretty much public throughout the
That's
whole
why,
way
yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. Like if it's a Catholic school, I feel like it would be more white people, right?
For sure.
Right.
Well, one I went to a Catholic school. Down the street was Maple High, and if you were white, you were 100% the minority, 100%. Because down the street from there was a mosque, and a lot of obviously Indian families moved in that area because
it's really the area.
Yeah.
It's really the area that you grow up, right?
What I learned the most, and that was so great for me because it was so different. But I learned that one thing that is internationally recognized is respect. And when I went to the school being so different, well, not that I was different, but just in a different atmosphere, I would respect the black guy the same as a white guy, the same as the Indian guy, the same as the guy from Iraq. And everyone understands respect, and that's what people have to realize. It's universal language. And as long as we love each other and we respect each other, there's going to be mutual respect. And so, I think it's as easy as that.
Like for me growing up, I was in Scarborough up until like grade 4 or 5. I was really young. And then ever since then, we moved to Whitby and then again moved to Bowmanville. Ever since grade 5, I've always been the only black person in my class.
For real?
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I've been able to experience like different stages of it though, different levels, especially as like the times have changed. Cause like when I first like moved to Whitby, I was the only black person in my class, but it was like people, like white people were harder on Chinese people at the time than they were on
black
people. Yeah, the Chinese guys. Like,
do you find you blended in more socially? Because I feel socially.
Well, my best friend was
difference.
Chinese Jamaican. Like,
okay, that's an interesting mix.
No, man. In Jamaica, Chinese run Jamaica, brethren. Like everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they own a lot of the property and a lot of the businesses because they bailed out the country many times. But China's always been like a main support in Jamaica. Like they just finished building like a huge, massive highway, pretty much like 407.
Dude, what's interesting? Yeah, no, sorry. I just want to kind of expand quickly off what you said. It's funny how the Chinese play such a huge role. Because when I went to Australia, I got off the plane. I thought I was in the wrong fucking country, dude. I got off the plane. Everything was in Chinese. I was in Brisbane Airport. I landed in Australia, and everything's in Chinese. They have a huge Chinese population there, and I was completely
caught off guard, right?
Honestly,
oh my God. I was like,
honestly,
what the fuck?
If we really think about it, that's systemic racism too, but not like racism, systemic socialism, because Chinese have one of the oldest cultures in world history.
True.
So they've been,
and I mean, they have a massive population
hundreds and hundreds of years. So you have to kind of understand the same thing we were talking about with like your great grandparents leaving your parents money that left you money when they died. If you have a family with a name that's 300 years old, could you imagine what has been passed down, right?
Yeah.
Unless you had an uncle who was a drinker and squandered it all.
I was even having this
pawned everything.
Yeah.
I was even having this
cocaine.
I was even having this conversation
there goes
the other
monetization.
The second you drop cocaine and hookers, gone.
Just like a dust.
Yeah.
Just like a little
Goodbye.
Don't do cocaine, kids, all right?
I was even having this conversation the other day about my last name. So you guys make jokes about it all the time, but it's actually quite funny.
But in a good way, though. It's a good way.
I know,
it's not a bad way.
But I have a lot of pressure because this name has been passed down for generations and generations.
And
serious? If I don't,
they're all pimped up the line, man. So he's got to keep that.
If I don't have a kid that's a dude, then this name is gone.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And
you don't have a brother?
No, I don't. And like my dad's brother is not having kids.
I don't even know my name.
Okay.
My blood name.
So I'm the only person that can carry this name on.
Who was murdered?
My dad.
Your dad?
Like my biological father.
So, I know, you never told me this.
You have a sister though. Oh, you have a sister though, not a brother. Brandon.
Yeah, like my sister wouldn't carry the name, right? So I'm the only person that can actually carry this name, so I got a lot of pressure. If I have a girl, it's like great, but like this name is gone after I die. It's
you gotta start shooting, bro.
Yeah,
once you get older, it's less.
Once I get one,
likely
I'll stop.
that you'll have. The older you get, the less likely that you'll have.
You gotta have more Netflix and chill sessions, man. That's what you need.
Yeah, the older you get, the less likely that you'll have a boy.
Already enough of those.
Your sperms slow down, right? The male sperms is the X.
So is that that's true? The older you get, the less likely to have a guy.
Yeah, well, not us, because
that's right? Not, so. Dude. Well, it really depends. It depends on the women you're with.
I'm natural.
What are you shooting? I'm procrastinating the shot right now.
It's the females you hook up with. That's what matters the most.
Really? So they actually,
of course. Yeah, I mean,
strong?
Dude, the older they are, the less likely they are to be fertile. So,
of course.
Their eggs dry up.
The kids now.
Goodbye, Valentine.
So, Mike, do you want kids eventually one day?
Mike, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you do.
You should like have like a kid with like a black girl, and then you'll have black Valentines.
And then they would have pretty good genetics, I think.
They would have solid genetics. If you like bred up like a Shani Grant, do you imagine that?
Oh my god!
With like the tiny waist. Badass. Who would be the ultimate genetic mix? If you could,
most disappointing thing ever would be. No, so I was just gonna say the most disappointing thing ever would be having a kid with someone like that, and then the kid not wanting to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you as a dad shove your foot way up his ass or her ass, and you say, "Listen, I know what's best for you. I'm your dad. Walk the line or you walk the fucking highway, bro."
You gotta program that shit from young.
Get the fuck out.
You just gotta do the shit that you want.
I don't care, man. I would just want my kid to be happy, whatever he decides to do or she decides to do in life.
Good.
Well, definitely not bodybuilding, you know. Like
if I
was quitting, I'd be like in the NBA or some shit. Or like,
how tall is he anyways? Like 6'2"?
I don't think he's tall enough for the NBA, to be honest.
No,
I think if he would have done that, he would have went that route. Or he.
No, I think he said that.
He would be a point guard if he was in the NBA. He would have to be a point guard.
He used to ball hard, but I think he told me that he just saw that like there was a level of caliber that was up. Yeah. And he just didn't have the he said that if he
Sorry guys, give me 1 sec.
This is more Brandon with the bathroom breaks.
Give me 1 sec.
He said it was more, it's again to speak on systemic racism, but like just generational systemic financialism. He never had the coaches or the coaching structure to like his parents never had the money to like hire all these coaches and do all the things that like some other kids would be able to do. If he would, even though he's like a little bit shorter, I guarantee you couldn't be in the NBA for sure.
Yeah, if he had the hop and he was
sorry guys.
Yeah. A lot of times when you hear the stories, some of these stories about young black kids that turn into like NBA pros, there was a white dude that helped them out along the way. There was a white dude who worked at a school or worked at a college and saw potential and gave them the foundations that their culture couldn't provide.
I was gonna say not MJ, but that was MJ.
No, bullshit. MJ too, man.
No, I know.
Yeah, contacts to get into colleges.
Yeah.
Contacts with scouts. This guy's a good kid. He comes from a good family.
Yeah.
You know, like pretty much like every major star athlete that we've like seen a Netflix show on, there's been someone in the process that's helped them who was white, you know? So there's a lot of foundation and white people have a lot of power. They could change it if they want to. I'm just going to say that and drop the mic.
I think it should just be more so based on skill. The same thing they do when they're recruiting cops or you're recruiting if I was a cop, I want the best person for the
just based on skill.
No, they don't. But I said they should.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
yeah, they should. They should. Yeah, because if my life is in the person behind these hands, and you hired him because he's Indian or white or I don't whatever the fuck, but the other guy who didn't get the job was black or whatever. I want that person to get the job. I don't care if he's got a turban up to the ceiling. If he does the job best, I want this guy to have my back.
Yeah, and I just threw women in there because I didn't want it to be like just a race thing. You know, women deal with like a lot of the oppression that black people have been dealing with just in a different way. same thing. It's actually probably even more like just openly blatant their oppression than black people. You know, like women openly don't get paid as much as guys for most jobs, and that's true. Just been.
But hold on, are you talking black, white, or you're just talking sexist?
Just sexist, just male.
That's a whole different fucking
no, but that's what I'm saying. That women have dealt with the same type of oppression.
Dude, again, I feel if a job is being put out there and they're saying this is the job description, this is the criteria, this is what you got to have. If a girl could fill it just as good as a guy, she should get paid the same. If it's a physical job, let's say maybe a firefighter or a cop, and she can't fill that physical stature, I would understand a pay cut. But if you could fill and do the same thing that a male can, you should be paid the same. It's all about who's the best man for the job.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what I don't understand. If you're color, if you're a Chinese
it shouldn't matter.
woman,
it shouldn't fucking matter.
Dude, if you're a Chinese woman, you do the same job as an Italian man, white. What does it matter? The job's being done. Who gives a shit?
You shouldn't be judged. You shouldn't be judged on your race, sexual orientation, or anything like that. People should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, like whether you're straight or gay or transsexual, or whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, whatever you are. Like, you shouldn't be judged based off of that. You should be judged based off of your abilities and your
or else it sounds like you're just recruiting for like a racism campaign or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, this guy's good. He's white. Okay, but the black guy's better. Well, we'll hire the white guy. Well, you're a fucking idiot if that's what you're going to do. Yeah. And that's what I was
really stupid.
Also,
it does exist. It does exist 100%.
I know it exists. More so in the States. It does exist here too. It's very sad. But in the States, the people to really look at in this is, yes, the cop who did it, but not the affiliated, I can't say not the affiliated cop, not the other police officers in that department. It's the people high up who saw what he was doing prior to that death with all the murders and didn't act. They didn't listen to the red flags.
Absolutely.
And allow that whole fucking department or the whole city of Minnesota to make it okay to have such a high black murder rate from cop to black. That is a problem that runs higher than just the people in the police department. That's the chief. That's who the chief answers to. That's who he answers to. That's looking up, down. And the chief was definitely in charge and could say, listen, this guy should not be on these areas, or he could only work these times at best. If not, fire his ass after he fucking killed 3 other people. Because clearly your ability to de-stress stressful situations isn't great. Yeah. Maybe you had shit luck and you were put at gunpoint 3 times and you had to kill people. Regardless, you should have been let off duty after having to do that, because mentally, buddy, you're never the same. Even if someone put me at gunpoint and I was a cop and I killed him and I had the right to kill him, but I'm never the same after that. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. And that's why it's important for the chief and people in the police, association to be able to help with whatever it is, counseling, psychological help. And I know Jay Green would attest to this. They go through a lot of shit, and it's unfortunate that it came down to this, but I really hope that now there's this high wave of attention that things get dealt with in a more constructive, efficient manner.
I think to add on to what Mike said, one of the most important things you can do as a police officer is be good at de-escalation tactics. And clearly that guy,
wasn't good.
Like clearly he had a different kind of agenda with what he was doing, and I think that this situation could have ended a lot better if he would have been dealt with accordingly before. But I feel like it's it's all based on the individual. Like, you can't ridicule the entire police department. That's what I'm saying. Individual. It's the individual. Like, what I don't appreciate and understand is why people are posting things like, saying fuck the police and shit like that, and making the police look bad. And in reality, it was the guy who fucking did it and the people that were standing around. It's their fault. It's not the police force's fault. Obviously, there are bad apples, and policing is a job where you can't have many bad apples. You can't really have any bad apples. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's right what some people are doing and posting, making the police look bad in general.
No,
because
That's not right.
It's crazy how far this has spread. Like, even Sean messaged me and he was like, yo, are we still going to do Sean from T-Rex? Sean and Adam will be coming on the show. By the time you guys will see this, you'll already know.
Stay tuned for that one, because that's going to be a good one, too.
By the time they see this, the flyer will already be out.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true.
Even he messaged me and he was like, are we still going to do the show? And it's like, yeah, fucking right. Hell yeah, we're doing the show. Like, we're not letting this stop us, you know? Like, it's been really great so far, you know? Like, our first episode is the most viewed. I think people just, like, watch us shoot the shit. But the interviews have been cool, too, you know?
Something I want to ask the viewers, and you guys can comment below, and I want to ask Jane Brennan, obviously, as well. George Floyd sounded like a good individual. What do you think? And it's interesting because his brother even commented, but what do you think he would want based off of his death? I don't think he would want on the vandalizing. I don't think he would want on the violence. His brother said, quote unquote, this chaos and this, you know, however we worded it, sorry, this chaos or this violence isn't bringing back my brother.
Yeah.
So I think George Floyd, from what I gathered, wouldn't want all this, but a lot of people are raging. I don't know if it's maybe an excuse to go, you know, break down a future shop there and steal a TV for themselves. I feel a lot of people are selfish. Or on the other hand, it can be just the oppression of people. It's taking a rise, and it's like, fucking enough is enough.
Yeah.
And I do think, dude, there's a mix of it, because people have been driving from outside of Minnesota to come in and cause shit.
Well,
you're not even from there. Why are you doing that? I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I think like that's things have been escalated to the point where I don't think any positivity is going to come out of it at this point. I just don't know. Like, I wish I could give a solution or an answer of what needs to be done to get to that point. But I hope that the people who need to see this higher up, it has grasped their attention that fucking shit needs to change.
Absolutely.
Because that's all.
There's no doubt about that.
I think that's a good.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
And to leave everybody on, for anyone hopefully who sees this and has any kind of position of power, or even if you're just someone and, you know, today's the first day you're gonna post a black square, or just not have a negative thought on it, and just join the positive crowd. Just
positive.
Join the positive crowd, you know.
I think even the fact that if we can get one person, you know, to change their view a little bit, even in the slightest way, I think you know,
one by one, man, one person at a time.
All right, guys, thank you for sitting with us and shooting with shit. Can't wait to be back with you. Please subscribe. It really helps out the channel, really helps us bring out more videos. Follow Brandon, follow Mike, and let us know in the comment section what you want to see. We don't always have to shoot the shit. We can do some other stuff. Just throw it in the
We want to give you guys what you want. So let us know
Exactly.
below what you guys want to see, because we have a lot of fun doing this, and we want to keep doing it, and we want to do what you guys want to see us do. So let us know what you guys.
Let us know what you guys think, Brendan. We got you, brother. I want to leave. I just had something I got to get off my chest. I'd love to start seeing people tag, you know, all lives matter. We all bleed red. Currently, the situation, the situation. No. I'm not saying white
today's
people
not the day. Like, no, because I got into like an argument with Wheels. Did you see that with Wheels for Life on IG?
No,
a little bit. Not like an argument, but like a back and forth, because like on the day of the Black Square, he posted like a All Lives Matter, and I simply,
which they do.
That's what I said in my comment. I said
they do matter,
but today's not the day that we're pushing that movement. That movement, if we're pushing 5 movements of humanity, or 4, no racism, equal sex, equal pay, and equal power socially. If today Black people are getting mauled down in the street, then everybody needs to collectively push this movement today. And then tomorrow we'll push the line on all the other fronts. But if you're pushing a line on 4 fronts and one of them is falling behind, the line breaks. So when people post All Lives Matter on the day of a Black Lives Matter movement, and it wasn't a Black Lives Matter movement, it was a Blackout Tuesday movement. I want to really set that discrepancy, especially because Black Lives Matter has a lot of like negative social attention to it. We really wanted to separate Blackout Tuesday from Black Lives Matter, because Blackout Tuesday was specific to the violence happening against police and Black people and police brutality from what I've seen in my perspective. Sorry. That particular topic.
Okay, When I was saying that, what I was saying was, as a human race, we need to come together.
Of course.
And not one person is greater than the next person. That's what I was saying. We are all God's children. We are all one. We all bleed red. So all of us matter. All lives matter. That's what I was trying to say. I'm not saying, what Jay was saying.
And this is why I wanted to take a second to clarify it. And this is like, even when I was talking,
I didn't even know there was a hashtag of that.
Yeah, even when I talked to Carl, like, it was the same thing. He was like, I never seen it from that perspective. Like, I used the example, like, we have like a gay pride parade or a gay pride day where everybody shares like the rainbows and stuff, and that's not the day to post same sex matters, because it just looks odd and out of place. You either post with the movement or just don't post anything.
I think the whole all lives matter thing is important, but I don't think it's as important as the whole, like, the fact that Black Lives Matter before the all lives matter, if that makes sense. Like, all lives don't matter until Black lives do.
I don't think, well, that's a good way to put it. Obviously, all lives don't matter if we can't all stand behind Black lives.
All lives don't matter until Black lives do.
I love seeing the white people at the lead front line of the protest. I'll be quite honest. I love it. I love those are my white people.
I'll fucking stand out there with you, bro. I'll stand out there with you.
Growing up in Whippy, man, I grew up with that, man.
I'll stand out there with you, bro.
I was around all, like, Brandon grew up, like, all multicultural. And then coming to Whippy, I was the only Black kid in my class. Racism would happen to me, and I didn't even know it was racism until, like, one of my white friends would be like, fuck you, man. You can't say that to him, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, that's my white person voice. Or my white kid voice, I guess, right? You can't do that. And I'll be like, oh, man, like, thank you.
Do you want me to just do the impression?
Yeah, maybe, right? But, like, so I've always been surrounded by, like, white people that stick up for me and stick up against racism. But anyways, I was trying to wrap it because we'll shoot the shit all
I pissed Jay off. Topic, that's what happened, and he went on a rant.
All lives matter, but just not this week.
That was a good way to end it, though. That was a good
all lives are fine this week. It's just Black lives are in trouble right now.
Yes.
That was a good way to end it, though.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys have to say?
Love,
no,
guys.
and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys.
Start chilling.
When we talk to Sean and Adam,
awesome,
from Team T-Rex, and will I see you guys? I'm off the gym right now. I've been doing deload week.
I'm training tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm not
training.
I don't know what this guy's been up to. He's we'll talk about that shit now. This guy's so distracted.
No.
The last few sessions that we trained, he's like on his phone.
Yo,
he's buried in it.
Yeah,
I still get my sets done. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
I get my sets done.
Yeah,
I train hard when it matters.
With the weight on me, I'm like, I'm ready. Yeah, he's like, 1 sec. Let me just.
No, it's not. You're exaggerating.
Brandon's like, oh shit, she sent me.
You're exaggerating.
Yeah, she said it. Me, dude. How was the photo shoot?
It was good, man.
He's not gonna say the truth.
Who was the model?
Huh?
Who were you shooting with?
Oh, it was with HD. There was I think like 10 of us there, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good time. Caught up with some old friends. Hashed some things out.
There? Yeah, that means Brandon Harding was there.
Man. We hashed some things out.
How did it good?
Are we still recording?
Of course we are, man. Yo, fuck that kid, dog. Yo, sorry.
No, I don't want
to.
I don't want to get into it. I'll talk to you guys off screen about it. But
another day, guys. Another day. I tried. I really did.
It was a good photo shoot. I'll talk to you guys about it.
So
after
Amber wasn't there. No.
No.
Jay,
Why are you doing this to me, Jay?
I'm just here for the team.
Don't do
So
this.
they walked in together, or what was the situation?
Just, you know.
No, don't do this to me,
She'll
please.
see the pictures. She'll see the pictures when they post them.
Oh my. Yeah. You guys will see when the pictures get posted.
Yeah. Well, those pictures that we did came out really good, man. You looked really model-ish, playboy-ish. I got a couple DMs I had to just block off.
Yeah.
My man.
Send them my way.
Valentine. Buddy, with your swag, you're gonna have a long, healthy generation of Valentines, man. You got nothing to worry about, dude.
I'm glad, and I appreciate
with his recklessness.
Exactly with his recklessness. Yeah,
and I appreciate the both of you.
All right,
and your concern.
All right, we'll let him go.
All right,
we'll find out the truth, and we'll see you guys later.
Until next episode. That's us.
Awesome.